Hey everybody, I'm Sarah and this is our workflow. Let's use AI to help us with the collect requirements process. This process involves gathering detailed requirements from stakeholders to ensure the project's deliverables meet their expectations. It includes defining and documenting project needs, features, functions, and performance criteria. So at this point, you've probably already done your stakeholder interviews, your workshops, your surveys and questionnaires, your focus groups, your document analysis and benchmarking, and all the good stuff that you need for requirements documentation. So now for step one, we're going to take all our disparate sources of data and information that we've collected as part of the collect requirements process, and we will use our LLM to help us synthesize requirements from these transcripts and the surveys and the documents, a very early version of my project charter, and anything else that's relevant that we have on hand. So you, being the very diligent and savvy project manager that you are, may have a lot more documentation than I have, which is great. And since we have a lot of documentation, we will chain our inputs into the LLM, meaning feed it our data incrementally over several prompts, because the quality of an LLM's output can diminish if we provide it too much info at a time. So we'll take these documents, sanitized of course, because we don't want to include any proprietary or sensitive data into an open LLM, and we'll input them into ChatGPT, and here's our prompt. You are an expert project manager specializing in software development. I am providing documents, transcripts from stakeholder meetings, survey results, and my project charter. Review and analyze all the information that's been collected as part of the requirements gathering project management process. Then make a list of all the requirements present in this documentation and organize them according to requirement type. So I am using ChatGPT for this workflow, but feel free to substitute it with another large language model of your choice, like PMI Infinity, like Claude. You could use Gemini, you can try a Copilot, whatever. And generative AI is going to do a pretty good job of synthesizing everything and giving us a really solid starting point. Keep in mind, in this scenario, I am the project manager, not the machine. So I am the one who is responsible for making sure that I'm using AI appropriately and I'm not allowing it to draw any false conclusions or to hallucinate and make stuff up that isn't there or to perpetuate bias. These tools are really great helpers, but I am accountable. Okay, great. So here's what ChatGPT did for us. Let's ask us to put all of this information into a PDF for us. And I will save this PDF as the input for my next step. And that is the end of step one. So now you have a nice list of project requirements that you can review, adjust, amend, you can send to your team, you can ask them to elaborate on it, you can cull the list. It's totally up to you. But the one thing that is for sure is that you need to review it for accuracy. Okay, step two. So now we need to locate a really good requirements traceability matrix template, because we're going to combine the template with the information that we just created in ChatGPT with the requirements PDF. And yes, in some organizations, if you have a business analyst on your team, they would be the one to create this document and you would oversee it and manage it. But in some cases, the PM creates it. But either way, you'll want to understand the whole process, because chances are your BA is also using generative AI to do this, and it's in your best interest to understand the capabilities and the limitations. So at this point, we either want to upload our organization's standard RTM template into ChatGPT, or if we don't have one, we'll find a good one and we'll use it. Or we could have ChatGPT create one for us. I'm going to find a good template that I like using PMI Infinity, which is PMI's own large language model, which is trained on PMI intellectual property. So I'll ask PMI Infinity for a template with this simple prompt, and boom, we can use this as our template. And we can customize this template and rework it to suit our specific needs. All right, step 3. Next, we're going to copy and paste the column headers from this bulleted list in Infinity into our next prompt for ChatGPT. This prompt asks the LLM to take the information that I just provided and use it to create the requirements traceability matrix, or the RTM. So here's our prompt. Use all the information I provided in the PDF you created to organize the project requirements into an RTM. Please include the following information in the RTM. So I go back to Infinity, copy and paste all of these bullets, and I put them back into this prompt. And now we have an RTM draft. Let's now prompt ChatGPT to export it as Excel and PDF files so that we can have both. Okay, now we need to go through this document. This is where we bring in our teams and together everyone takes a look. And with the help of ChatGPT, we've gotten this document maybe 60, 70, maybe a little bit more percentage of the way there. And that has saved us so much time, but it's time now for the humans to go in and do their work and to make sure that this documentation is accurate. Okay, step 4, let's take it a step further. After the spreadsheet has been verified and fleshed out by my team and it's complete, let's let the LLM take a crack at creating test cases for each of these requirements. Now, to ensure we get a detailed output from ChatGPT, we will do this separately for each requirement ID. If you ask the LLM to start generating test cases for all 20, 50, 100 lines, it's not going to do a good, thorough job. So we're going to take it line by line and we're going to adjust the inputs along the way, reacting to what the LLM provides. So here's my first simple prompt. Write user test cases for item 1. And without any further information, ChatGPT goes right ahead and assigns a number, an objective, a precondition, steps, and status. And now we can decide whether we like this format or if we need something different here. Then we just continue this process. As we chain our prompts, continuing to generate test cases, we are the humans in the loop at this stage of the process. We are reviewing the test cases, making any adjustments as needed, and verifying the info going into our document. This is yet another opportunity to work with our team, ensure the large language model is accurately representing our team's capabilities, scope, resources, and expectations. It'll greatly help us minimize rework later. Okay, so now let's really harness Gen AI here and see if it can help us in a very specific way. We want it now to take a look at the whole picture. We'll ask it to come up with more scenarios and to include more edge cases because we want it to help us identify some of the missing test cases and scenarios that maybe even our team didn't quite catch. So let's ask it to verify that all of these scenarios that we have can map back to our requirement traceability matrix, and I'll include both documents here. This response is the LLM verifying that it understands our request. Everything looks good, so let's proceed. And again, because I gave it vague instructions and a large document, it's asking us to confirm its tasks. These are exactly what I want, so I'll give it permission to proceed. But this is where you would tailor the instructions to fit your needs. And now it's analyzing, and this is such a time saver. Without the help of AI, this is a really time-consuming process to figure out if all the test cases we've written map back to the requirements. ChatGPT came back and said all the requirements are represented in the RTM, the test case coverage is accurate, the test and development status is check out, so we are all good there. It does mention that some of our test cases could be reworked a little, so let's ask it for its suggestions. And from here, we can continue to prompt and work out these details with the LLM and our team. If you find that you need your scenarios to be more detailed, you can ask for more details, and you can also provide a sample that can help guide ChatGPT. And you can also ask it to create more scenarios just to make sure that you are totally covered. Okay, step 5, it's dashboard time. This is my personal favorite step. So imagine a world. Wouldn't it be cool if, as the team is working through testing this long list of scenarios, we could monitor a shareable dashboard that visualizes some of the key areas that we're testing. So like, where are the tests passing? Where are they failing or pending? What's the general pass rate? And any other details that are important to this project. And then, wouldn't it be even cooler if it only takes seconds to generate this dashboard, and it's dynamic and clickable and super easy to update and share. So we're going to move to Claude for this one because it has a new feature called Artifacts, which we're going to use, which allows Claude to be able to share standalone content in a dedicated window separate from the main conversation. And this allows you to easily view, copy, and work with the artifact content. So let's take our spreadsheet and see what Claude can do for us. And you can see Claude get right to work building a React component that will display all the information in your dashboard. It provides you with an overview of the data, key features, directions on how to use the dashboard. Amazing. So from here, let's ask Claude to refine it to make it into exactly what we need. We want it to provide deeper insights into our project's test cases and help our team make informed decisions during software development. And because I'm not exactly sure what we'll need or what to ask for, let's jump back to PMI Infinity and ask Infinity for suggestions on what we should include. Okay, so with this response from Infinity, now we can craft a prompt for Claude and we can tailor our dashboard for our needs. So when we prompt Claude to edit or iterate on the content, the updates will be displayed directly in the artifact window. And our edits won't change Claude's memory of the original artifact content. And we can switch back and forth between versions using the version selector at the bottom left of the artifact. We can also open and view multiple artifacts in one conversation using the chat controls by clicking on the slider icon in the upper right corner. And we can select the artifact we'd like Claude to reference and then continue where we last left off. Once we're ready to share it, we can download the file here or click this Publish button to share a link to our stakeholders for them to view our dashboard. No Claude account needed. It's kind of fun to think about all the other use cases there are for these types of artifacts. But the one thing I will caution on is that Claude can't handle too many types of data at once at this time. So if you attempt to push out a big dashboard, for example, that contains various types of data and tons of visualizations, you're going to run into some trouble. So it's best to keep it as streamlined as possible while gently pushing the limits to see how much Claude can handle. But for work like this, it works really beautifully. And that's it. You can tell your BAs that from now on, you've got this covered. Just kidding. Okay, so to recap, we first collected requirements and we synthesized various documents using ChatGPT. Then we used PMI Infinity to create a good working template for our requirements traceability matrix. We used ChatGPT to write test case scenarios that map back to the RTM. And finally, we created a dynamic dashboard using Claude's artifacts feature. And now you're ready to start crafting your scope statement or whatever it is that you have to do next. So by leveraging AI in requirements gathering, creating requirements traceability matrices, generating test cases, and developing interactive dashboards, project managers can save substantial time on routine tasks, reduce errors through comprehensive analysis and cross-checking, improve project outcomes with more thorough test coverage and real-time visualizations, enhance collaboration by providing clear, shareable documentation and dashboards. While AI serves as a powerful tool in this process, it's crucial to remember that human oversight, expertise, and decision-making remain essential. The project manager's role evolves to guide the AI, validate its outputs, and ensure alignment with project goals and stakeholder needs. As AI continues to evolve, its integration into project management practices will likely become more seamless and more powerful. By embracing these tools now, project managers can stay ahead of the curve, delivering projects more efficiently and effectively in our rapidly changing technological landscape.